In 1920, the Soviet Union was still chaos on the ruins of the Russian Empire. World War I had killed 2 million Russians. The economy lay shattered, and civil war raged. Reds against whites. Lenin, scarred from Fanny Kaplan's 1918 assassination attempt, ruled from the Kremlin. The reality dwarfed Hollywood dramas. The 1921-22 famine killed 5 million, more than the entire Red Terror. People ate grass and tree bark. Cheka reports documented cannibalism. Saratov, the Volga region, and Ukraine turned into skeletal wastelands. 1917, Revolution Timeline, January. The February Revolution topples Tsar Nicholas II. April. Lenin returns from exile in a German-sealed train car. His April theses demand, all power to the Soviets. October. Bolsheviks seize Petrograd. The Winter Palace garrison surrenders without a fight. They lock down control. Civil War, 1918 to 1920. Trotsky's Red Army crushes the Whites. Kolchak, Denikin, Wrangel, through executions for desertion. Cost, 10 million dead from war, typhus, and starvation. Lenin creates the Cheka internal troops, the NKVD prototype, Red Terror, 1918 to 22. Dzerzhinsky's Cheka executes 200,000 plus enemies without trial. In Crimea, they drown bourgeois in Black Sea barges. In Tambov, gas and camps crush the peasant revolt, the first gulags. Solovki camps are already running. Lenin's August 11, 1918 telegram, mass terror against kulaks and priests. Famine, 1921 to 22. Civil war wrecked transport. Bolshevik Prodrazverstka seized peasant grain. 1920, drought and locusts hit hard. By spring 1921, millions starve. Saratov lines form for straw clay bread. Samara children eat pets. Hoover's American Relief Administration feeds 10 million Russians with 1 million tons of aid. Bolsheviks block it at first. Famine tests kulaks. Cannibalism reaches Moscow suburbs, forcing NEP rollout. By 1923, the Volga loses 25% of its population. NEP and early industrialization. Private trade revives markets. First five-year plans aim to surpass America. Stalingrad tractor plants copy Ford models. Goelro promises electrification. Decolonization starts with Combity grain seizures. 1925. Stabilization. Lenin dies. 1924. Trotsky goes into exile. NEP brings jazz clubs to Moscow. But Stalin's purges simmer below the surface. These are the Cold War roots. Tomorrow, the 1930s Stalin era. The 1930s transformed Stalin's chaotic USSR into a terror machine. First five-year plan, 1928 to 32, demanded impossible 110% industrial growth, or execution. Collectivization deported 6 million kulaks to Siberian gulags. Ukraine's Holodomor genocide starved 4 million through deliberate grain seizures. Factories rose from mud, but human cost dwarfed America's Great Depression. 10 million dead from purges, famine, labor camps. Real photos show emaciated Ukrainian children. Moscow show trial defendants. Arctic Gulag skeletons. Stalin's rise and collectivization timeline, 1928 to 1932. 1924. Lenin dies. Stalin outmaneuvers Trotsky, exiles him to Turkey. 1929. 1928. First five-year plan launches. Liquidate kulaks as a class. 1.8 million peasants deported. 1929. Collectivization riots crushed by OGPU troops. 1930. Ukraine grain requisitions intensify. 1932. Holodomor peaks. Ukrainian villages sealed. Starving farmers shot for hoarding. 1932. Dniepro's dam completes, world's largest hydroelectric, built by slave labor. Holodomor genocide, 1932 to 33. Engineered famine killed 3.9 to 7 million Ukrainians. Stalin's quota, Seize 7.7 million tons grain despite drought. Villages locked. Escapees shot. Eyewitness Gareth Jones. Fields white with corpses. Cannibalism rampant. 2,500 cases prosecuted. Kharkiv orphanages overflow with swollen-bellied children. Photos smuggled to West show skeletal families eating weeds. U.S. journalist Malcolm Muggeridge. Man-made famine. Stalin denies. Blames kulak sabotage. Great Purge terror, 1936 to 1938. NKVD under Yezhov arrests 1.5 million draw 681-692 executed. Official. Show trials broadcast. Zinoviev, Kamenev confessed treason under torture. Marshal Tukhachevsky, Red Army genius, shot for German spying. Doctors plot precursors. Scientists executed. Moscow's Lubyanka becomes execution factory. Villages denounce neighbors for extra bread ration. Yezhov himself purged 1939, replaced by Beria. Industrial miracle. Amid death, Magnitogorsk Steel City rises. American engineers witness camps. Stalingrad tractor plant copies Ford. Workers collapse from 12-hour shifts. Dnieper Dam powers Ukraine. 10,000 slave deaths. Output triples, but quality abysmal. Metro Moscow opens 1935. Palace underground hiding surface famine. Daily life in terror. Passport system. Traps peasants. Ration cards. Survival lottery. Black markets thrive. Samagon vodka parties. Mask fear. Children join pioneers. Inform on parents. Jazz banned as bourgeois. Moscow intellectuals whisper. NKVD microphones everywhere. Western reaction. FDR recognizes USSR 1933 despite Holodomor. US firms, Ford, GM, build factories. Engineers report camps. Hearst papers scream, Red Famine. League of Nations ignores. Churchill. Worst dictatorship in history. Cold War intensifies. Spanish Civil War, 1936-39. Pits Stalin versus Hitler. Proxy for global struggle. Purges gut Red Army just before Barbarossa, 1939. Molotov-Ribbentrop Pact. Stuns world. USSR joins Nazis partitioning Poland. Stalin drinks champagne with German ambassador. But terror machine rolls on. 1940s USSR faced annihilation, then victory at unthinkable cost. June 22, 1941, Hitler's Operation Barbarossa unleashes 3.8 million Axis troops, largest invasion in history. Stalin's Great Purge has gutted Red Army, 35,000 officers executed, 305 marshals dead. Initial weeks, 3 million Soviet POWs. Leningrad siege starves 1 million civilians. Stalingrad 1942-43 becomes urban slaughterhouse, 2 million dead for city ruins. Victory costs 27 million Soviet lives total. Photos capture frozen Leningrad corpses, Stalingrad rubble skeletons, Moscow victory parade. Barbarossa invasion timeline, 1941-1942, June 25, 1941, 3,000 Twast, Luftwaffe bombers obliterate Soviet Air Force, 4,000 planes lost. Day 1. Army Group North races to Leningrad. Army Group Center encircles Minsk, 300,000 Reds captured. Army Group South pushes for Ukraine coal. Stalin panics. Order number 270. No surrender or family shot. August. Moscow defense lines breached. December. Siberian reserves counterattack. First German retreat. Leningrad siege hell, 1941-44. 900-day blockade kills 1.1 million civilians. Germans cut rail lines. Finns seal north. Daily ration, 125 dri bread. Workers, 4 oz of meat. Cannibalism cases, 2,000 prosecuted. Lake Ladoga. Road of Life, ICE convoy loses 500 trucks to artillery. Eyewitness diary. People eat wallpaper paste. Cats vanish. Shostakovich Symphony No. 7 premiered amid bombs. Global morale boost. Stalingrad meat grinder. AUG 1942, Feb 1943. Paulus's 6th Army, 300,000 men, fights house to house for Factory City. Pavlov's house holds 24 days versus 3,000 attackers. Soviet snipers, Vasily Zaitsev, 225 kills, stalk sewers. November, Uranus counteroffensive encircles Germans. Temperature, 30 degrees, no food. Paulus surrenders 91,000 troops. Only 6,000 survive camps. Turning point. Allies cheer. Hitler rages. Industrial war machine. Ural factories relocate overnight. 80% aviation production east of Urals. T-34 tanks roll off lines. 35,000 total. Women. Man 12-hour shifts. Lend-Lease. U.S. sends 400,000 trucks, 11,000 planes. Stalin downplays but crucial. Daily life. Under fire. Evacuations displace 25 million. Blackout Moscow parties jazz on. Children scavenge shrapnel for soup. Propaganda posters. Motherland calls. Gulag output triples. Slave labor builds bombers. Home front ration. Potatoes. Ersatz tea. Western reaction in Tehran conference. Pearl Harbor unites allies. US-UK demand second front. Stalin furious. Lend-Lease lifeline. Spam cans become Soviet delicacy. 1943 Tehran. Roosevelt. Churchill promised D-Day. 1944. Stalin toasts. To our great Soviet people. Cold War seeds amid alliance. Katyn massacre. 22,000 Polish officers executed. Hidden. Yalta, 1945 partitions Eastern Europe. Stalin grabs Poland. Baltics. 1945. Berlin falls. Red Army rapes 2 million German women. Soviet records. Victory Parade. Zhukov rides white stallion through Moscow. Stalin declares socialism victorious. But 27 million graves. Obi Victory 1945 leaves USSR in rubble. 27 million dead, 1,700 cities destroyed, 70,000 villages gone. Stalin rebuilds through slave labor. 2.5 million German POWs, plus Gulag inmates. Berlin blockade. 1948-49 tests west. Tito's Yugoslavia splits. 1948. First communist crack. Korean War 1950 proxies Cold War. Atomic bomb monopoly ends 1949. Photos show Berlin ruins. Gulag rebuilders. Stalin's paranoia purges. Korean front lines. Post-war reconstruction timeline, 1945 and 1949. May 1945, Berlin falls. Zhukov's victory parade. July, Potsdam Conference. Stalin grabs East Germany, Poland. 1946, Fourth Five-Year Plan. Steel output doubles via forced labor. 1947, Berlin currency reform sparks blockade. 1948, Tito expelled from Cominform. 1949, first Soviet atomic test. U.S. monopoly broken. Gulag rebuilds empire. 2.5 million Axis POWs, 90% Germans. 1.5 million Gulag slaves reconstruct Ukraine, Donbass. For Kuta coal mines, prisoners die at 30% rate. Kolyma gold camps, 10 grams gold or death. German engineer in Donbass. Slaves work 14 hours, fed 400 gran bread. By 1950, industrial output reaches pre-war levels, but human cost uncounted. Berlin blockade crisis, 1948-49. Stalin cuts West Berlin roads, rails, 2.5 million trapped. US-UK Berlin airlift delivers 2 million tons, coal food, 297,000 flights. Stalin blinks June 1949, blockade lifted. NATO forms April 1949 response, communist schisms and paranoia. Tito split, 1948. Yugoslavia defies Stalin, national communism. Tito, no Moscow orders. Stalin plots assassination, fails. Late Purges, 1949-53. Doctors plot. Jewish doctors accused poisoning Stalin. Leningrad affair. 2,000 party officials executed. Stalin plans mass deportation of Jews. Operation Rootless Cosmopolitans. Korean War proxy, 1950-53. North Korea invades South June 1950. Stalin greenlights. China. Mao joins. Soviet MiG-15s fight US F-86, MiG Alley. 36,000 US dead. Armistice 1953. Korea divided. Daily life in ruins. Black market thrives. Americans' cigarettes currency. Women clear rubble. 80% workforce. Children orphaned. 1 million bezprizorniki. Cult of Stalin peaks. Portraits everywhere. Housing crisis. Communal apartments. Kommunalki. 4 families. 1 kitchen. Cold War hardens. Truman Doctrine. Marshall Plan. Exclude USSR. Common Form Coordinate Satellites. Iron Curtain Speech. Churchill 1946. From Stettin to Trieste. Stalin. Capitalist encirclement. Stalin's final years. Paranoia consumes. Doctors tortured. Successors jockey. March 5, 1953. Stroke death ends era. Late 1940s. Forged bipolar world. USSR rises from Debund ashes. Atomic power. Eastern Bloc. But Gulag slaves. Purges sow decay.